Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this, what I would call not a training, but it's like a train the trainer training. So I'm not looking at you all as somebody who don't know how to use Zoom. I expect that there is a fair amount of knowledge on how to use Zoom. You all know how to log in. That's why you are here. And some of you might even know more than me. I don't know. The idea is to share knowledge. So in a train the trainer sessions, normally what we do is we find out who knows what and try to fill the gaps only. We don't try to say A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Maybe you only don't know one letter. We try to only teach that letter rather than teaching you the alphabet. So that's how this session will work. And the way it will work is we will be doing a lot of things hands-on, practically. And to do that, I will sort of make you all, first of all, co-hosts, or I will transfer the host control to you to show you how this meeting looks from my perspective, because now you might be only looking at it as a participant. But what we want to do is, we want you all, first of all, to moderate your own Toastmaster meetings in your clubs. That's the first objective. So after the session, you should be able to confidently go and say, yes, I can create my own meeting and moderate it and conclude it. The second thing you should be doing is, okay, but how do I teach others to do it? They all can't come to KG, right? So I want to be the trainer to train my club members to become moderators so that they can handle the meetings. The VP ad can handle the meeting one day, the president can handle the meeting the other day. So your job is to train the others. But it is not like you'll have to start from scratch or take down notes. And that's why I'm very glad that Saira is here, because what I have been doing from morning, other than doing my other document for the district, is I have created this, I think approximately how many pages? Around 20-page document. And it gives you the whole perspective of how to create a Toastmaster meeting from the perspective of Zoom. So we will talk about technology, we will talk about licensing and how you need to set up. And at the end of this meeting, before I share this document with you, as I said, I would probably like Saira to just go through it because I typed it very fast. So some of the English might require some fine tuning. And I'm very happy with the suggestions given by Saira to my other document. So I'm hoping she will do a proofreading of this document. After she does this, we will share it with the group, and I will give you the soft copy also. So in case you want to modify it to suit your own needs, or maybe you want to give to your, translate it to Arabic, feel free to do that. You want to change the screens, feel free to do that. So we have 24 pages as of now, and yeah, probably that should be it. So we will go through this document and see what are we talking about. What should you, as a moderator, need to do to have a very productive meeting? And so the first thing I asked everyone to do is, I ask you all to log in from the PC. Why did I ask you to do that? Because many of the controls, you won't be able to see it from a mobile if you log in. So if you're conducting a meeting, if you are a moderator, it is necessary you do it from a laptop. Your members can join from the iPads or mobiles, or it doesn't matter, and they will be able to see the meeting, hear the meeting, that's fine. But to run as a moderator, to see all the controls, to manage all the audience, you need a PC or a laptop. You might be able to do it with an iPad. It's quite okay, but as far as possible, laptop is what you need. So what is the first thing we need to look at? As per my document, we need to, first of all, as I said, log in from the PC. The second part is, I just want to highlight to you the licensing requirements, because if you really want your clubs to benefit in the next 1 or 2 months with online meetings, you have to think of buying a pro license. There is no getting around it. You can't run a club meeting with a basic license, the free version that comes with Zoom. By the way, the pause is because people are coming in, so I have to just admit them in. And that's one of the role I will be explaining to you what you need to do. Possibly what I will do is I'll just make Priscilla the co-host so she can handle any incoming requests. I don't have to get distracted with that. So anybody coming, let them just come inside the meeting room. So when it comes to a pro account, that's $15 per month. And so you need to invest either as a club or at area level or division, or if the district is giving, somebody has to give you a pro account, because there's no point in scheduling a meeting with a free account. Because after 40 minutes, imagine a speaker is giving a speech and suddenly the Zoom meeting terminates in the middle of the meeting. It will be quite awkward for everyone. Some people, what they're doing is they're scheduling their meetings in parts. So what they do is they will plan it so that before 40 minutes, they will terminate, they'll create a new meeting and ask everyone to join. But that can be quite frustrating too. So the basic thing is to have a pro account. That's the minimum requirement, in my opinion. Of course, it goes without saying that there are plenty of videos available on Zoom to understand the various meeting controls. And I highly advise you all to go to zoom.com, go to the tutorial section, run through the various videos. It shows you how to do various settings. But remember, those videos are very generic in nature, not what I should say, Toastmaster meeting specific. Okay, because Zoom can be used for so many things. But do go through them, and they will help you for sure. Internet speed, it should be at least 5 times of Murali's internet speed. And those who have attended any meetings with Murali will of course know the insider joke. Because of course with such a low speed, we can't hear, and the video keeps freezing. So all of you all here who are attending, I see reasonable internet speed. So that's fine, but that's what we need as far as running a meeting is concerned, to ensure that we are at the right place. If you are using a mobile phone, maybe go near the window where the signal is better, something like that. And then comes to the audio part of it. I want to talk about the audio, because audio makes or breaks your speech, especially if you're a speaker, if you're a moderator, you are giving instructions. And I hope I also sometimes get your internet is unstable once in a while, but generally it is fine. So audio makes or breaks your speech. Audio makes or breaks your presentation, your instructions. So the best advice I always give is for a moderator, because you will be standing, you will be sitting, you won't be standing, unlike a speaker who might want to stand and deliver. As a moderator, invest in like, this is a very cheap headset that I'm using, but many people claim, oh, your voice sounds so great. When I hear it, it comes all around, because this is wired, which means there is no delay, no Bluetooth related transmission delays, no audio sync issues. So something like that, where the microphone is close to your mouth so that the sound is captured only from here, and it reduces the audio coming from, let's say, far away. On the other hand, if you use a mobile as your audio, you might hear your child screaming from the next room. It generally happens. Okay, so audio set like this for the moderator would be ideal. It's an investment, but a worthwhile investment. Something like what Priscilla is wearing and what Tabassum is wearing also is good, because both are using very high-end headphones with active noise cancellation technology and whatever that might be. So they will be hearing, the system will be automatically canceling all outside sound, and their microphones are designed to sort of eliminate background noise. But that's not an investment I would advise only for Zoom meetings. If you have that, it's great. If not, a simple headset which is wired and connected to your PC is just good enough. You might have noticed that when you joined, so now that we have the technology in place, let's start planning the meeting, how we will go about um, what are the settings that we need to do in Zoom targeted towards a meeting. But there are many settings. People open their Zoom and say, where is the poll setting? Why am I not getting poll? Why am I not getting breakout rooms? Why am I not getting certain things which are supposed to be there? And that's because you need to do some settings in your Zoom account before you start any Zoom meeting. You might have noticed before you all joined, did you all see like the Toastmaster logo in the waiting room when you all came? And it said, welcome to Quit Challenges, and then there was some message. So that's the first part, like the waiting room. When somebody comes for the meeting, they should see something so they know they are in the right place, right club, and the right meeting, and the right time. And the way we will do that is, this is how we will go through the training now. And how many of you all have created a free Zoom account? I can't see the video of some, but those who are, raise your hands. And it's very easy for me to know whether you have a Zoom account, because if I stop the video, I should see the profile photo. Like you will see my profile photo now, right? If I start the video, it means I'm coming from a Zoom account. If you see only the name, probably he is coming not from a Zoom account. Okay. So let's see, first of all, how we can create the waiting room. And to do that, I will go to my screen sharing. And this is when you log into your Zoom account, this is what you would be seeing. And if you go to the main page also, you would find to the right side called My Account. So when I click on the My Account, since I'm already logged in, it will take me directly here. If not, it might ask me for my username and password. So the first thing I'm going to show you is, because most of the time you will be spending in the settings. And when you come to the settings, there are so many of settings, but we will only focus on those settings which affect a Toastmaster meeting. And the first setting that I want to go to show you is the waiting room. So I will just search for waiting room, and here it is. So the setting that I am putting here is who should be put in the waiting room. So you have an option, all participants or guest participants only. And you may think that guest is a Toastmaster guest. No, that's not what it means. Meetings in Zoom can be done two ways. Either you come through a Zoom account, so he is not considered as a guest. But if you just join a meeting from a mobile or without logging into a Zoom account, then that is considered as a guest. Okay, so guest here is not a Toastmaster guest. It's just a non-Zoom user. So what I'm going to do is, if you see here at the bottom, there is a pencil mark here. I can click on it and I can customize my waiting room. And you have three areas of customization. One is to change this title. So I can say, welcome to KG Zoom room, for example. So this is what, as a person, when he's joining any meeting and he's waiting in the waiting room, he will see the screen. This meeting topic will come directly from your meeting topic that you have defined when you create the meeting. We will see how that is done. And this is where we can change the logo. I can select this and choose any logo. There are some requirements. It has to be 400 pixel by 400 pixel size. So you might have to do some photo editing to match that requirement. And finally, we can make some change to the text. You can do any text up to 400 letters you can put. So this is what they will see when they come to the waiting room. Very clear? If you all want, you all can, if those who are looking at this, you all can open in your computer, zoom.com, log into your this thing, and then go to the settings, just to make sure that if you have any questions to do this yourself, I could help it during the meeting itself. Okay. The second thing is related to polling. Now, we know that we can use polls for selecting the best speaker, best table topic speaker, best evaluator. But the polling option in your meetings will only come if you have enabled the setting in your Zoom account. So if I search for polling, you will see that I have enabled add polls to the meeting control. So if this is off, and most by default it is off, that's why many people struggle why I cannot see polls. If this is off, then in the meeting itself you will not see the button polls at all. So you have to enable it. But I have to put a caution here that polls is a pro only option. That means in a free account you will not get to do the polling. You have to pay for the $15, the pro account. But once you do it, it's so useful in the club meeting. I mean, you can run the polls for all the evaluator, speaker, table topic, just like that. And it saves you so much time. So definitely it's a option worth investing. The other option that I would like to draw your attention to is related to sharing. And let me just search for sharing. So screen sharing is very important in a Toastmaster meeting. Why is it important? Because many speakers would like to give a PowerPoint presentation, or they might want to show some photos of the event that they are hosting. So any of their speeches, normally if there is any presentation, then you need to give them the ability to share. So if I want sharing to be enabled, it has to be here. Because if I disable it, then they will not get this option on their meeting control to share content. And who can share? Again, we have an option, host only or all participant. I must keep it on all participant because obviously a prepared speaker would not be a host, but he still wants to share. So you have to enable it for all participants. There is a security feature here where we can say disable desktop screen share for users. If you enable it, it will not allow the person to share his desktop. Why, you may ask? We want to disable that because sometimes we don't know what's on his desktop. So it might be not a good idea to see his desktop. But the problem is if you do that, then the speaker might get confused. How do I share? Because he's used to going to his desktop, then going to the folders and then opening the PowerPoint. So I keep it off simply because I know the users are not tech savvy. But if the users were tech savvy and if I made this on, then before they share, they have to first open the PowerPoint and then click share. So they can't, you understand the difference? They'll have to open the PowerPoint first and then come to Zoom and say share. They won't be able to go to the desktop and then click on the folders and go to the right folder where they have stored the PowerPoint and so forth. So it's up to you how you want to control it. I normally keep it off because most of my members are not very tech savvy. So the security feature might be not in their benefit. Annotations is something which is, and the whiteboard, these two features, I have disabled them. Why? Because these are great for business meetings. When teams are meeting, they want to share ideas, they want to draw on the screen some and show what they have in mind. But if you enable this in a Toastmaster meeting, and we have seen even in a contest, whenever you share something, people will start drawing hearts and circles around it. So best is to disable it. Don't allow them to do any annotations and don't allow them to share the whiteboard. Just keep it as a Toastmaster meeting. So this I will be sharing it's there all in the PowerPoint presentation. You don't have to take down notes. Then what we need to do is we need to make sure that we have enabled chat. So chat, we have two options here, chat and private chat. I have enabled both of them. Why did I enable both of them? Because chat is a general feature where we can send messages to everybody. And if I disable the private chat, then it will not allow them to send private chat. But in a Toastmaster meeting, a private chat is a very useful tool to give feedback to the speakers after the end of the speech. So what they can do is the Toastmaster of the day can inform the participants, okay, at the end of the speech, you have 1 minute silence. Please go to the chat and send a private message to the speaker to give him feedback instead of writing down notes on the how we used to write on a small sheet of paper and hand it over to him. So this could be done through a private chat. Another thing I would like to explain to you is related to the audio and video settings. And this is right on top of the meeting. Like, how do you want the audio of the participants? Like in the US and other countries, Zoom has a dial-in feature. So what they can do is they can connect to the meeting only for the video, but for the audio, they will dial a specific toll-free number. But in Kuwait, I have not seen a toll-free number. So in Kuwait, what I normally do is I keep it to computer audio. And this makes the meeting invitation shorter. If you use computer and telephone audio, you will find that when you send the meeting invitation, and some people have, if I have noticed in the WhatsApp group, the invitation becomes very big with all the details of all the phone numbers, which we are never going to use. But if you keep it to computer audio, then your meeting invitation will be very straightforward and simple. Okay. And the final thing I want you to enable is something called non-verbal feedback. So I have enabled this. So if you enable the non-verbal feedback, then, and you can test it also in the Zoom meeting. For example, I can give a non-verbal feedback to any participants by putting a clap sign or a thumbs up sign, something like that. So these are the various controls which are useful for managing a Toastmaster meeting. I want you all to just go to zoom.com and verify that you can just play around with it. Because once I send you the PDF document, you'll be able to go to the precise location and then make the changes. So I will unmute also to understand if there is any concerns.
Anwar, you can ask your question now.
Catherine, I had a question, please.
Yeah.
The settings, what you were showing, you have a pro account or a higher version? I mean,
I have a pro account.
So I simultaneously went on my settings when you're showing me. I'm not getting so many options like you.
So where did you go? Because you, as I said,
US and gone sign in on my settings, and I went inside.
You can share the screen with us right now. Click share. Go to that window, and we will all give our observations to you. Great. Yeah,
So
you're in the right place.
Yeah.
And can you click on your face, on your photo on the right side? I just want to see whether you're logged in with your pro account.
The thing is, okay, 1 second.
No, just on the face, yeah. Licensed, great. So you have exactly the same as mine. Okay. So tell me which setting you were looking for.
Chat thing and all that.
Chat. Okay, just press find and look for chat.
The thing who's meeting, that how you said welcome to COVID challengers.
Okay, that is waiting room. Search for waiting room.
So where do I search that?
Control F, I think. Mac, I am not very sure. I think
Control F, yes.
Alicia, you have also purchased the account.
Yeah.
Okay, go down. Keep scrolling. I will tell you when to stop. Private chat is there, host, co-host, screen sharing. Okay, whiteboard. Whatever we have discussed is all here so far. Non-verbal
Remote
feedback.
control.
What is this? Disable desktop
Yeah,
screen.
this is, I was talking about the security feature where if you enable it, then people cannot share their desktop. They can share applications, and it's more of a security feature.
Okay.
Yeah.
So better to keep it off. I mean,
I keep it off because what happens, my users get confused whenever they want to share something and they can't share the desktop, then they get lost. What do I do? You know,
right. Okay. Okay.
go down.
Then this non-verbal feedback is
That's
something.
the, yeah, enable it because that's where you can clap and stuff like that. Yeah.
And the,
Emojis.
Remote
breakout.
support, save caption.
What is this closed captioning?
Closed captioning is you need actually a third-party tool, but you know, whenever it can show the text at the bottom of what you are saying. Okay. Okay, let's. Okay, you scroll down.
Virtual. And this is important?
No,
Or
no.
no, right?
Again, as I said, guest here is a different concept in Zoom. It means a
Right.
non-Zoom user.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. True. True.
Yes, waiting.
Here is
room.
waiting
So
room.
here is your waiting room. Okay. Now you see
Okay.
that pencil customize the title, logo, and
Actually,
description.
ഞാൻ ഓൺലൈൻ മീറ്റിംഗിൽ അതുകൊണ്ട് എടുക്കാൻ പറ്റാഞ്ഞ റിനുവിന്റെ കൊടുത്താൽ മതി റിനുവിന്റെ
Okay.
നമ്പർ ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ
Oh, you
അയച്ചു
want
ഈ
to
നമ്പറിൽ വിളിച്ചിട്ട്
Got it?
അവന്റെ കൊടുത്താൽ മതി നാളെ
Great.
കുഴപ്പമില്ല കേട്ടോ
Thank you so
താങ്ക്
much.
യു
So now you see, we have seen another person going through the settings and they are matching my settings and they were able to fix it and update and play around with it. Anybody else has a problem with this? Because now we'll go to the actual meeting now. This is the general settings.
Can I ask you two questions?
Yes, please.
One is, can you just show the chat out of curiosity?
You could type if you're having a difficulty in the audio because we couldn't hear you. Looks like Alifia has managed to spruce herself up. Yeah, it's
Check
hard
the
with all
chat.
the salons.
Anvar's question is in the chat.
Okay. Can you show the whiteboard? Yes, why not? Did I enable it or did I disable it? I think I have temporarily disabled it in my settings because I made it like a Toastmaster settings. And in my document, I have said disable the whiteboard and disable the annotations. That's why I can't show it here also. And you won't be able to see it also. Okay, I'll have to go to the settings, change it, and then come back. But whiteboard is essentially an empty drawing area where everybody can contribute. Like let's say you are doing a teamwork exercise and you'll want to demonstrate something. So one person draws something, the other person adds to that, and you keep keep working on it. It's just like a blank board. Is that clear, Adam? Okay, he has some issues with the connection, I guess. But is it clear to the others? What is a whiteboard?
Okay.
Is it good? Yeah, but what do you recommend?
Pardon?
Do we enable it or do we disable it?
Toastmasters
In my
preferably.
recommendations
Don't
for this
enable it.
recommended Toastmaster
Because you
meeting,
don't want people writing.
yeah, we don't want
in between
annotations, we don't want whiteboards. And so I have disabled them to demonstrate this. So I can't
It's
even.
as good as the sergeant at arms telling somebody don't enter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so in another type of meeting, like if you're doing a business meeting, obviously you'll go to your settings and you'll enable them, and then you'll be able to do it in the meeting. So it depends on the nature. So I'm doing it only from a Toastmaster meeting structure. What is it that we need to do? Okay. Now that we have the general settings, let's go and see what happens when we want to actually create a meeting. So again, I will share my screen now to show you how we schedule a meeting and what are the settings we need to sort of pay attention to when we create the meeting link and share it with our club members. The answer to Adam is yes, you can do many of the settings in meeting. And one of the setting you can do is if you want to disable private chat at a certain point in time, you could just do it during the meeting itself. Yes. So let's go back to my settings and the control panel. And this time, instead of settings, I will go to the meetings. So here we have the meetings control where we can see all the coming meetings which are scheduled. So this is going on. That's why it shows me in progress. Tomorrow I have a Quit Challenges Toastmaster meeting. If I want to see the previous meetings, I can click here and I have a history of all the previous meetings. So it's a very good tool for the secretary or the president to know how many meetings have been conducted for their club. I want to focus more on the scheduling part of it. How do we schedule a meeting, which is, of course, for you all, it will be very simple. But from a Toastmaster perspective, what are the controls I believe you should be enabling? So this is very simple. The topic is, you normally would use Quit Challenges meeting, let's say number 412, whatever. Okay.
10. 10.
Okay. No,
10.
I'm scheduling for 12. 412. Online meeting, or we can, in the description, we could probably put theme of the meeting. Okay. Keep learning or something. Okay.
Together.
Then you choose when is the meeting going to be, let's say somewhere in April, Monday 6th, for example. What is the time? That's all very straightforward. 6 p.m. for 2 hours in GMT time. So that's 6 p.m. plus 3 GMT. So that's the Kuwait time. I do not recommend recurring meetings for Toastmaster meetings because every meeting should have a separate theme and separate history. So don't create it as a recurring meeting. Registration obviously is not required because that means then everybody must have a Zoom account before they'll be allowed into the meeting. And you don't want to do that. If some guests suddenly want to join, you don't want to go through the hassle of creating a registration. So keep this off, keep this off. Meeting ID should be generated automatically. Don't use the personal meeting ID. I don't want to waste too much time on the personal meeting ID, which is associated. But if you create a separate meeting ID, then it's easier to track in your history all the separate meetings, all the polls that were conducted, who won the best speaker, who won the best evaluator, all will be maintained and kept for you. So keep the meeting ID separate, generated automatically. I don't recommend a meeting password. It's up to you, because once you have a waiting room, then why do you need a meeting password? Because when they come to the waiting room, you can validate who are coming and then admit them based on who they are. And you can even ask questions for people who are in the waiting room. Who are you? Are you really coming for Quit Challenges Toastmaster meeting? Are you a Toastmaster? And based on their answers, you can then admit them in. So there is no need for additional meeting password. The videos ideally should be off when you join, and then they can be enabled in the meeting itself. You see the computer audio, because I had changed my main settings to computer audio, it is coming here. I can change it here if I want. If I want them to use telephone, which in Kuwait doesn't make sense. Okay, and these are the main controls now for you. Do you want enable join before host? That means, do you want people to enter your meeting room and start discussing and chatting away? It will be like, what I should say, it is not compatible with this option, because if you have enabled the waiting room, then how will they join in the first place? Correct? So as long as you have enabled the waiting room, don't allow to join them before the host, because they don't make sense actually. Mute participants upon entry is a very good choice to make. Keep it ticked here. Why? Because let's say the speaker is giving a speech and suddenly a guest joins in and his microphone is on and his kids are screaming in the background. Can you imagine what will happen to the speaker? So mute the participant upon entry, and the rest should be off, because Authenticated users, again, I've explained, we don't want only Zoom users, so we will leave it off. Breakout rooms are not applicable for Toastmaster meetings, so we don't have to worry about breakout rooms. And recording, you can do it whenever you want it. Or if you want, you can enable it as record it on your computer or in the cloud. There is advantage of recording on the computer and the cloud. On the cloud, if you record, you can immediately share it with your users, but there is a penalty. You have to pay a hefty amount for it, something like $40 per month if you want cloud storage. As a default, you get only about 1 GB free when you create a pro account, and 1 GB is good enough for one meeting. That means if you try to record the second meeting on the cloud, it will say you don't have enough space. So I normally record on the computer and then I upload it to YouTube, but it's up to you. I normally record when the meeting starts, not automatically. And the alternate host is not applicable for us because to use alternate host, you have to pay for multiple hosts. That means instead of $15, if you have pay for 2 hosts, that means $30 if you want to pay for 4 hosts. This makes sense only in a business organization where there are multiple meetings happening in multiple places at the same time. But for a Toastmaster, 1 host, $15, good enough. You won't be able to use alternate host. And the meeting is scheduled. Now that the meeting is ready with all these parameters, you will now have additional controls. What do you want to do with the meeting? First of all, you can copy the invitation and that will show you the, can you all see the invitation, by the way? Just to be clear, just raise your thumb. Okay, you can see it. So it's a very short invitation, right? Because it has only the name, description, title of the meeting, the date and the time, and the link, and a meeting ID. Very short and sweet. If I was to do just to give you an idea, if I was to edit this meeting, and I had to use, for example, let's say both. Remember about the computer audio, and if I had to click save, now my meeting invitation will become a little longer. So now if you see, all these dial-in numbers are US numbers. Who are you going to dial from here to US, right? It doesn't make sense. So we would not use that option of both. We will only use computer audio so that the invitation becomes very simple and straightforward. Now that you can copy the invitation, you can paste it into your WhatsApp groups, okay? Or you can, if you have Google Calendar integrated with your laptop, just click on the Google Calendar. You can type in the names of your members, and it will send them an email automatically with the link to the invitation, and it will put it in their calendar. So on their Google Calendar, they will get an alert 15 minutes before the meeting is starting. So all these features are available to you if you want to experiment with them. Again, I will unmute everyone just to make sure that you are able to go and schedule your own meeting. Let me stop this. So the settings have been done. The meeting has been scheduled. You got your link. Any questions so far? If you all can unmute yourself and ask the question, feel free to do so. Dinesh, yeah,
Yes,
you're
Dinesh.
unmuted.
Good evening to all of you. My question was regarding the sharing the screen. Suppose if any particular meeting, prior to start the meeting, you enable to all the participants can share. And during the meeting can disable again?
Disable
to share
what?
by the participant or any speaker.
Can you repeat the question?
My question was that prior start the meeting, you enabled the all participant to share the screen. I mean, given the permission. After a particular speaker finish, can you disable again to all the participants cannot share the screen?
You can do it, yes. Like how you could do a lot of things in the meeting itself. There, if you, we will now focus on the meeting itself, because so far we have talked about general settings. Then we have scheduled a meeting with certain parameters, and now we will come to the actual meeting. This one which we are holding. Okay. Now, for example, to demonstrate what Dinesh said, Alifia had just shared a screen, right, Alifia? Now what I will do is I will go to the screen sharing, I'll go to advanced sharing option, and I will say, I will change my settings. Okay. And I will close it. Now, if I tell Alifia, try to share, probably she will not be able to do that, because I have just disabled that option here from my, right?
Host disabled attendee screen
So
share.
now she can't share, because what I have done in the meeting itself, I have said only the host can share. So only I can share. Okay. So a good point, Dinesh, that many of the settings that we do in the settings, some of them we can override them in the meeting itself. And the other person who had asked was Adam, for example. We had enabled private chat, but during the meeting itself, maybe just before starting the speech, you want to disable the private chat. You can do that and enable it, for example, once the speech is over. So all these things can be done, and it's a good learning for us. Even in the contest, for example, I could just go and say chat, no one. And so normally we give instructions to our contestants and to the attendees saying during the speech of the contestant, nobody should chat, side chat. But I don't really need to give the instructions if you think about it, because I could just say participants can chat with no one. Boom, it stopped. Nobody can, the whole chat will disappear. Let me do it now. Can you all chat now? It's gone, right?
Yes.
Chat disabled.
So that's an interesting learning, where now I will enable it for all, everyone publicly and privately. Now you will see the chat button coming again on your screen after some time, and now you can chat. So as a host, we could actually apply these learnings even in a contest running, where we could do this automatically. I could, for example, say chat everyone publicly. So now you'll be able to do, if you see now in your chat box, you can do only public chats. You can't do private chats anymore.
Except to the co-host, yeah?
Yes, possibly, yeah. Okay. So these are the things we could do in the meeting itself. Yes, so I'll enable the chat again. So the sharing also, let me enable the sharing again with everybody, all participants, so that if we want to share, we can do that. So good question, Dinesh. Thank you for that. And something we have learned on the fly.
Another question.
One more thing.
Yes.
As you told that no Zoom user can consider as a guest, even the Toastmaster also. So it is a little bit confusing me. If he's the no Zoom user, then how he can participate in the Zoom meeting?
Zoom meetings, anybody can join as long as they have downloaded the app, or they type in the meeting ID from the browser or from their Zoom meeting. They don't actually have to create a Zoom account. So if you if you have a mobile and you download the app and you say join meeting, directly you can join. You have never created a Zoom account, but you can still come and join the meeting. And that's what we mean by non-Zoom user.
Okay, one more thing. Sorry. In the betting room, you told us only authenticated users can join.
No, we
What
disable
does it
that.
mean, the authenticated?
Yeah, authenticated user means Zoom. He has to have a Zoom account, because then only Zoom can authenticate the username and password. So for Toastmaster meeting, we disabled it because we don't want only authenticated users to join. We want anybody to join, but we will admit them based on their waiting room who is there. Okay.
That's all. Thank you very much.
These are the settings from the Toastmaster perspective. All right.
There was a question in the chat box.
Tabassum. With free account now, will I get all the features here? You get everything that I mentioned. The only thing that you will not get is the polling option. So you won't be able to run the poll because the minimum requirement is a pro account. But everything else, including the breakout rooms, you can do with whatever I have discussed today. And when I share the document, you can go through the whole thing and try all of these options. Create a meeting immediately. Invite 2-3 people, your friends. Don't have to be a Toastmaster meeting, you know, and then play with all these options. That's the only way we will learn. Okay.
The duration will be 40 minutes with the free account.
Sometimes I don't know how it works, but randomly because of this COVID-19, for some meetings they will randomly add unlimited time. Some meetings they'll extend by certain but you can't rely on it. It's not guaranteed, you know. So that's the story. 40 minutes. That's the hard limit.
I have one question, Gadgeton, that the options which you told us for this meeting, besides this, there are so many other options also there. So should we leave them on as they are a default, or we need to make them?
Because it would take so much time, and most of them are not related in terms of the, like, if I was to just discuss breakout room, it will take so much time, right? But or a Toastmaster meeting, do we need a breakout room? So I focused only on what settings would impact your Toastmaster meeting. If we were to think in terms of how do we run a contest, then our perspective will change.
Yeah.
If you understand, right? So, or if I want to run a business meeting, then it will change slightly differently.
So I mean, for a club meeting, we just need to make those settings which you just described and leave the other settings as they are in default.
Yeah, and it wouldn't matter whether they are on or off because we are not actually going into that option itself, right? So we are focusing on.
And it will not affect the proceedings of the meeting.
No, it should not.
Okay.
Ideally not. And even if it does, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out immediately.
But for that we need to do the experience actually.
Yeah.
There's a question from Abdul Wahid.
Abdul Wahid, can we schedule invitations from others? So they have to basically go to their Google account or something like that and send it to you by one of the mechanisms. Like if it comes to your Google Calendar, then it will be a schedule for you. Okay, but otherwise, if you just received a meeting invitation, then you won't get any alert. You'll have to wait for that time and then go to that meeting by using that link. But if they sent you, you could use that as a practice, that you have the email addresses of all your club members as a group in Google account, a group of all the club members. So then when you schedule the meeting, go to the Google Calendar, paste the group name, and then send it out as an email. Yes, you can unmute yourself, I think. I have not.
Where is this raise hand option? I cannot see the raise hand option.
The raise hand option is, it should be there in your, if you go to, I think from my side, I see it when I click on the manage participants, raise hands.
Because I see reactions, record, chat, share screen, participants, and invite. These are the options.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to find where exactly I can see it. Hisham,
if you click on participants, there is.
I think I can't see it because I'm the host, so I won't see the raise hand.
Okay, yes. If I click on the participant, there is.
Yeah,
there is option raise hand.
Okay.
Yes, Kajitan, why I'm asking this question, because we keep receiving invitations like in our groups, multiple invitations.
Yes.
Okay, and you know there are now nowadays we are receiving a lot of invitations, and we forget which day which meeting is going to happen. So if there is such option available, if we can schedule it manually.
Yeah. So basically, when you do the meeting settings here, for example, when I'm doing this Quit Challenges meeting, now this meeting is ready. I have to go to the Google Calendar, okay, and I choose to sign into my account and allow Zoom to do. Actually, this should be a one-time app. So now this meeting is here, right? I will invite my my guests. Okay, so let's say I want to send to Priscilla, I want to send to Wafa, for example. I hope she doesn't come for this meeting. So what happens is when I save it, it will go to them as an email with this information, Kajet and Barreto, and it will go automatically in their calendar. So if the calendar is linked to their mobile, then immediately 15 minutes before the, I have a notification for 30 minutes actually. So 30 minutes before that, they will get a notification, hey, this meeting is coming up, get ready. You see?
Yeah, but you are sending invitation to them.
Correct.
What I'm trying to say, if I want to schedule myself, I received an invitation in the group, WhatsApp group, and I want to schedule it as a user, end user.
So this basically go to your calendar and manually make an appointment for yourself. That's the only way I
So
can.
there is no option available.
And in that appointment, you can put the link of the meeting and keep it. That's it.
It is not, by default, it is not linked with the calendar actually.
No.
You will have to do it manually.
Yeah, you will have to do it, yeah. Okay. So that's far as settings and planning or scheduling a meeting. Now let's go into the actual meeting controls from a host perspective. And again, let me share the screen with you. Because now I can't share and show you how the controls look, because the controls are in the meeting itself. And so all we have done. Okay, so now comes the point of starting the meeting, and I'm sure all of you all know this. That means when the meetings are here, all we need to do is start the meeting, and it will start this meeting for you as a Zoom. So now we are in the meeting itself. And what are the controls I want you all to observe is all these controls. We will just go through them quickly. Audio. And so let me just mute everyone just for the time being.
You are not seeing the camera, you should.
Okay. So that we have quiet in the room. And I'll go. So now we have the controls for the audio, video, and you might not have controls of all of this on your screen because right now you're a participant, and that's where we will test. I will make you a host to see what are the controls you can see. Invite, manage participants, polls, share screen, chat, record, breakout rooms, and reactions. This is what I see as a host. But it's not just that it's mute or unmute. There are a lot of things we can do with the audio button. So when I click on the mute or unmute, next to that there is this arrow which allows me to control my audio. So always when you join a meeting, try to make sure that the right speaker and the right microphone is selected for you. And the best way to do that is go to the audio settings and fix it. So this is my, if you click on the audio settings, it will come here. Click on the test speaker button. So you should hear the audio in the right place. Test the microphone where it will ask you to say a few words and it will repeat it so you know it's coming correctly. So all of you all just make sure that you all can, that you all are clear, because this is what you will be teaching your people, not for you. I'm sure you can do it. So just go to the audio controls and test it, test the speaker, test the microphone, and give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, I'll unmute so we can discuss it.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
How to go to the main screen? Like from which option?
Yeah, so if you see here, there is, you can see this arrow here.
Like from my window, if I want. Yes.
You have to just click on this arrow here. Yeah. Then it will come up here, and then you go to the audio settings.
Audio setting. Okay.
Right. And then when you go to the audio setting, this is what you should see. Great.
Okay, got it.
Thumbs up for everyone?
And yes.
Yeah.
And the earlier screen that you had shown, that is video setting.
We are coming to the video settings now.
Earlier where, okay. No, the previous one where you showed where the hosts were entered and the break room and all that, the initial setting, which Alicia also managed to log in. That was,
you're talking about this screen?
From which window?
No.
The main screen, which you showed earlier. How to go to that screen from this window?
Settings. That she's talking about the settings.
Settings?
Main setting.
Settings is done and over now. So
that is, Kaji, I think
would
what she
you
means
have
is,
how did you go there? I
zoom.us
just want to know
website. Go to zoom.us, please. Zoom.us and sign in with your account.
Yeah, that's all in the Zoom account. Nothing here in this application. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And one question which I just typed is like with my one ID. Suppose I have one ID. With that one ID, two simultaneous meeting can take place?
No, only one at a time.
Can have.
Only one.
Only one at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it anywhere, for example, suppose I've generated a password or I've taken an account, okay, that I can stop anyone else from using it? I have given it to say 4 different people.
Yeah.
But when I want to use it, can I stop the 4 people?
Yeah. Will
I know?
Yeah, it will say if there is a meeting going on, it will tell you there is a meeting going on. Do you want to stop it? And if you stop it, whatever the other person is doing, it will just terminate their meeting. And that is why what I was telling you is that if you are sharing your account, you have to be very careful that you don't suddenly stop a whole club meeting which was in progress. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Kajitan, can I ask a question
Yeah.
which is related to our last meeting where I was a sergeant at arm? I have to share one photo which I took during that meeting. Can I share my screen here if you don't mind?
You want to share? Okay, let me
Yes.
stop my share first. Go ahead.
Allow him to share.
All right. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You can see Rehab Al-Dosari.
Yes.
Okay. As you can see, there was no mic for a few participants.
Correct.
And I was trying to mute those guys, but there was no option available.
Right.
Why it was showing like this?
So what has happened is these people have logged into Zoom. Okay. And I will explain, maybe we can demonstrate it to you also. What has happened is this person has logged into Zoom, and when they join Zoom, they have an option to say join with computer audio. Okay. Now what can happen is they have joined, but they have not clicked that button. So the audio is not joining. So you can see the video, maybe you can see that the person is inside the meeting room. His audio is still not connected. So you'll not see the microphone next to him.
Okay.
So you have to tell them, click on the join audio button. Okay. And if you want to experiment, we can try it now, but you can, I'm sure, like I can tell Priscilla to log off and log in, but not click on the join button. And you will see that I can't see her microphone.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, so with this option, even you're saying that join in with my, if they don't, we cannot hear them, neither can they hear us.
Correct. Yeah. Because no audio is going through them. The Zoom has not yet, so these people probably, they just logged in and they have not actually kind of committed themselves, or they have not hit that button. And especially if they join from the mobile, no, what happens is they can see the screen of the meeting going on, but still there is a small pop-up at the bottom of the screen which says join with computer audio. If you don't hit that button, the meeting is going on and probably they can hear it. I have not tested it, but we can't hear them anyway, so we are not bothered about them. And even if they click join, what we have set the setting, mute them upon entry. So again, we are not bothered about it. So that is very important that we mute them upon entry. Okay, let's go back.
Isham.
Yes.
Isham has a question.
Yes, I was asking, you wanted us to test the audio. I'm now on audio type and I clicked computer audio, but I don't know, what did you want us to test?
No, if you actually, you have to log off, and when you're logging in, you have to not click on the join audio. So it will require you to get out of the meeting and then come back,
Kajitan, do you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
This is what you are talking about, right?
Correct, correct.
So if I now
See, okay, I'll show you. This one, you see Khalid Abdullah, those of you all can see there is a 3 dots there coming, floating. If you can see this picture if you go to the gallery view, you will see there is Abdullah's photo there, and it says connecting to audio, but he's not putting the button, so it just keeps on floating, so it means he's not connected to the audio. Very good, Abdullah. Thanks for sharing that example.
No problem.
Okay.
Anytime.
Yeah. So that's why we know that he's not connected to the audio there.
Abdullah has the same attire of his profile picture.
Yes.
Yeah. He must have logged in from the Zoom also. Yeah.
Yes.
Looking very similar both.
Okay, now moving to the video part of it. Video is also interesting because, again, you can start or stop the video. That's very simple. But what we are interested in is, first of all, what video device you are using. If you have multiple devices like I have here, so must make sure that the correct device is selected. But more important is the video settings and the virtual background. So the video settings, there is not much. You can enable if you want high definition video and make sure the video tests correctly, and the virtual background. So if you can see that the virtual background is something which everyone is interested in. Yeah, because you can see I can freely change my virtual background to anything I want, and it looks good, right? But it doesn't happen just like that. I can, at the flick of a button, go into some rich man's mansion and imagine I'm a millionaire, or some leader in Toastmasters, or go to the beach. But the reason I'm able to do that is this. You see, I have behind me an actual green screen. Okay, and if I was to remove the green screen and then try all these funny backgrounds, you see what happens? It doesn't sound so good, right? And if I remove, I have no. So so the virtual background is quite very much related to having a physical green screen like this and your computer processing power. Because you can see now I'm using a, maybe this, right?
Very
Yeah, so it depends on, some of y'all might not get the video. Some of y'all can only use the picture as the virtual background. Some of you might not even get that. It'll say your computer doesn't meet the requirements of the virtual background. So it's highly dependent on how you want to set it up. If you want to really do it the right way, put a green screen behind and then play around with the backgrounds that are possible. And you can download any picture and you can play with that. Now, good example.
It should be only with the green color or any solid color?
If you have a solid color, you can try to match, but the problem is your any clothing that you wear, anything should not match the background color. So now, for example, Alifia has a interesting background, but if she tries to move very quickly this way, that way, maybe suddenly you'll find her face disappearing, or if any of the cloth of what she's wearing matches the background, suddenly it will become the invisible woman. Okay, so that is something you can try, but it's not really something that is, but people love virtual backgrounds. So if you want to use it, test it and make sure that it works for you. Now, most of your time as a moderator, you will be doing with the here, which is called manage participants. Okay, and what I will do is I will now make all of your co-hosts. I think I can. Let me test the limits of the co-host today.
Kajitan, while you are testing the limit, Now, if I'm the secretary of the club and I wanted to record all of those who attended the meeting,
Yeah.
apart from the active participant, of course, I would be able to see who is there at one point in time, but I would not be able to capture whoever logged in and logged off.
Yeah.
So is there any log somewhere in Zoom that
Well,
I
you
can
could
refer
always
to?
record the meeting and then go through the recording.
That would be tough.
Yeah.
Or there can be any online register? Can we put that everybody should mark his
Actually, there are
attendance?
many ways we can do this, but you know, at our level of club where we are just struggling to get members to come for a meeting, how much can we do is a question mark, because we could have registration. So that means you have to register through the, you will get a registration link, like how we get in any district meetings. So that means you can only join if you come through that link, for example. Then you know who has registered, who has attended, who has dropped out. Everything will be available.
Yeah.
You know, so those are the things that we can try. So those who are co-hosts, feel free to play around, mute everyone, unmute everyone, and if you have any questions of what to do, I will go and get a glass of water in the meantime. And
You can take from your virtual background.
Will be salty.
Make it a river, Sweetwater Lake.
somebody had mentioned, and I that day very confidently, that the limit is 10 co-hosts, and I was sure that is not the case, and I made everyone co-host, as you can see now. So I don't think there's any limit on the co-host, and I looked at the documentation. I didn't find any limitations on that. So chat with each other.
Okay. Edited, you see, I put the virtual screen, but only little that.
Who muted? Who muted?
No, I'm saying only this side see the grasses. Anyone can answer why only half virtual screen is seen? Who can answer?
What
Your
did you say
background.
again?
Tabassum, your background.
You need a
Your green screen.
background behind you.
You have a pink
But
screen
how
behind you.
Alifia got? Yeah, but how Alifia got?
Alifia's is
Alifia
also not clear. It's not clear.
No, but she got the entire picture. Mine only like only this side is coming.
Really sad.
Yeah, it's not coming. I see, okay now. Yeah, look at that.
Did you see a ghost behind Arij yesterday?
My God, Arij had so many things behind her. Never mind. I will fidget and I will work out something.
Yeah.
I have a bed sheet here. Green
Or
color.
you come-
Maybe, you know, this will give that. See.
Or
See,
you
this
call-
is giving, the bed sheet is giving.
So now that we have a good idea of what are the controls that you get with a co-host, you can basically control the meeting yourself now by managing the.
Yeah.
Kajitan, there are some options or some
Somebody had muted you or something like that.
We can't hear you, Abdul Rahim.
Yeah,
Hello,
somebody's playing
can
around
you?
with the muting controls. So
Okay.
let Abdul
All right.
Rahim. Yeah.
Yeah, so there are two options available, like go slower and go faster.
Yeah.
Those are used for what?
These are just like, for example, if you want to indicate to the host that you want to, like, it's just what I should say, non-verbal feedback, you know, that it says, you're speaking too fast, just go slower. So it will become visible to the person that he should slow down. And if you have asked a question and you can't actually talk, right? So it'll ask, please, you can just click yes. Or if you don't agree, you can click no, and things like that. Just indication which comes on your name.
Ah, okay. Ah, okay. Got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's move to the controls. So the first thing is to admit people from the waiting room. So whenever a person comes in, it will be coming here. And the interesting thing that you can do is, if the person is waiting in the waiting room and you want to validate who that person is, you can message him. Like you can say, you can send a message to everyone in the waiting room. For example, give me 5 minutes, and they will know that somebody is there in the meeting. So you can do that when you see people are there in the waiting room. So you can directly message from here, or you can enter it from here and enter the message. So mute and unmute, you are all practicing, so I don't have to worry about that. And also, you might have noticed that when you're muting, you have this additional control. And this is very important, especially during the speeches. When you say mute all, do you want participants to unmute themselves? No, you don't want them to be unmuted, so you will disable it. So then only you can unmute those participants. What about the participant video controls? Now, video is a sensitive thing. Audio is at least okay, but video, the way Zoom looks at it is, you can't force and switch on the video of any participant. They must do it themselves. Okay. So whenever the video is off, for example, Abdul Wahid is here, I can't actually switch on his video. I can only click on, say, asks to start video. And now Abdul Wahid will get a notification saying the host wants you to put on the video, and he's on, you see. So always video is in the control of the participant, not in the control of the host. But there is one thing I want to tell you, especially in the contest that we see, you can stop somebody's video. And if I stop as a host, then they can't switch it on themselves. Then I have to switch it on for them. And this can be right. So for example, I will say stop video. Now I have stopped the video of Priscilla. And if she tries to switch it on, I think she will get a message saying your video has been stopped by, oh, it came? Because she's a co-host, but for a participant, you wouldn't have got it. It would have got a message saying that your video has been switched off by the host. So
I think even audio has the same option, that if the host stops the audio, the participant cannot open it by himself.
Yes, that is when you do this option. Okay. Don't allow the participant to unmute themselves. So you have to switch on this option when you're muting them.
Okay.
Making others host or co-host. Now, co-host, I have made everyone as co-host. If I want, I can make also them host. Okay. Host basically will transfer whatever privilege I have to that person, and I'll become a normal person. Okay. And when might you want to do that? Suppose you are in a meeting, you are the host, and yeah, you have to go somewhere. So you transfer the control of the host to the next person who can handle it. And he can get then all the controls that are normally associated with the host, with one exception. The host cannot modify polls. Okay, if I transfer my host control to Priscilla, she won't be able to create new polls. She will be able to run the existing polls only. And the reason for that, I will explain when I come to the polls. Okay, we are coming to the polls now.
And this option is available in the free account as well, to make host more than one?
Co-host.
No, host.
No, I can't make more than one host. I can transfer host.
Transfer, okay.
Yeah, I can only transfer host. I can't make more than one host.
And then when you come back, for example, you have to take back the control, or it is in the other host control that he wants to give
the
you
host will have to give it to me. It's like I have given my key to the other person. Okay, unless the person gives it back to me, I don't have any access to the system anymore.
And you don't have the duplicate key?
No, I don't have.
There's only one. Okay, okay, got it.
So now the polls part of it is, this is very useful from a Toastmaster meeting. So I wanted to spend some time on that, because you'll use this to create and modify the best speaker, best table topic, and so forth. So if you have,
yeah, although I've been made a co-host, but I don't see any option of creating poll or going to the break room. Those options are not seen.
Yeah, we are coming to that. I'm coming to the break room also. So as a co-host, you can only execute the polls that are already there. You can't create new polls. As a co-host, you can only run the polls that have been created. So as a co-host,
so the polls can only be created by a host. Only host can create polls, not a co-host.
Correct. Okay. So right now there are no hosts, no polls, right?
And sorry, how many hosts can be there in a premium account, and how many co-hosts? Only one host.
Yeah, co-host any number. In fact, I made everyone a co-host now, right? So there is no limit.
No, because I remember in Miss thing, I was somehow Noor in between made me a co-host, and I was just browsing. I saw there was a poll option, and I also had an option of creating a poll. Now I was a co-host there. I didn't do it, but I saw that option was available. Was it?
No, actually we have tested it, and in fact, you as a, it's very clearly mentioned, only the host can modify or create new polls, but you can run the existing polls, you can share the results and so forth. Okay. We can test it afterwards, but I'm pretty sure about that. So here as a host, I can add a question, and then it will come something like this. So you give a title to your poll, ask the question, and then give the list of names.
In the free account, the poll option is not available.
It's not available. Yeah, that's why I said it's an investment you have to make if you want all these options. And once you click the save button, then the poll is available, and then this can be now run by the host or the co-host. That's not a problem. And if I launch the polling, then this is what you will see. And then I click end polling.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then you'll get the result. And this is where I mean, I'm sure you will be able to create the poll.
100%, yeah, 100%, wow.
Okay. So here, my recommended option from a Toastmaster meeting is not to share the results. Because if you share the results, then all the audience will see this thing on their screen. And do you think that's a good idea? Because let's say Anwar, he'll be very sad because he didn't get any vote. So the best thing is to find the winner and then send a private message to the Toastmaster of the day who will announce the results. Who's the winner? That's it.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Even in the meeting, we do that.
Yeah, actually, it happened in May spring. I was made a co-host, and I could see the percentages going up and down. And one of the person over there, my very good friend, was getting 0. The rest were getting like 5, 10. And I said, oh my God. And I thought everybody could see the screen. And I'm saying, oh, so-and-so, you got a 0. And then later he's saying, Kya, you're telling everybody I got 0. So we have to be careful of these things, that
so
some of them may get sensitive if we announce how much percentage they got. Yes, you have to just tell them the result. Do not say how much percentage.
Alifia.
Yeah, Kajitin, when you're the host or the co-host and polling is going on, is there any option that I can see who is voting for whom?
Who is voting for whom? Actually, it will only show you what the running totals. But if you want, you can always go back to the controls in the Zoom. There is a reporting option which shows you who has voted. And also when you're creating the poll, you have a choice. You can say that this poll is anonymous or no. If you choose anonymous, then you can keep all the results anonymous. Otherwise, their names will be listed and who has voted for what will be available to you as a report in Zoom. not in this meeting control, but you have to go to the dashboard in Zoom, zoom.com, and then check it.
There I can.
Yeah, you
see
can
who-
get it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the polling part. Shared screen, as I've shown you, that you have already able to share it. So this is what I talked about, sharing the screen or sharing the specific application. And it's always recommended, if you want to share a PowerPoint, for example, don't come here, because then everyone will see your whole screen. Open the PowerPoint first, like for example, I will show you PowerPoint. I will open one window, and now what I want to do is I'm going to share only a PowerPoint, not the screen, and see the difference. If I say share screen, you are able to see everything on my screen, right? All the windows which are there behind. This is sharing screen. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to say share screen, but I'm going to choose, because it will now show me that the PowerPoint is open. I will only show PowerPoint. So now you should see only PowerPoint. And the thing is, actually now in the background, I'm opening WhatsApp. But can you see WhatsApp on the screen? Actually, I'm typing WhatsApp now, but you can't see. You are only limited to the PowerPoint. And that's the way we should train our people to share. Not to share the screen, but first open the PowerPoint, and then while clicking share, choose that PowerPoint, and only that will be shown to the audience.
Kajitan, I have to leave now, but I would just say thank you so much for all of what you did so far. I think it was an
We are
excellent
actually finished. So when I send you the file, you would then reach.
Bye, Khalid.
Yeah, we are already at.
Bye, yes.
Yeah, we are already at page 22. So you know that it was only 24 pages, right? So it's a share screen, and then recording. I already explained. You can record on your computer or on the cloud. But cloud, you have to pay for it as an additional stage. Breakout room, I'm not showing it in this screen because as a Toastmaster meeting, it is not required.
Yeah.
Okay, but a separate discussion can be had on this thing. And reactions is where you can, as I said, this reaction button which you see here, that will allow you to put thumbs up or something like that. Yeah, Gino has already done the clapping, thumbs up, and so forth.
Yeah.
And then you end the meeting.
Perfect.
Okay, so that's the,
Yes, based on this presentation actually and this file, we will test all these options which are available with us, and it will be more helpful for us to test.
Can you repeat that name?
Yeah, I'm saying that when you share this file with us, we will, based on this file, we will check all the options available and test all these things.
Correct.
It will be more helpful for us.
So Saira, can I send it to you?
Yeah, you can. Just 1 second. I wanted to, can you show us a small demo on a recurring meeting?
Okay.
Because
yeah, that's
I wanted to just schedule it for my club without the theme. I mean, the theme is mentioned in the agenda anyway. So
no problem.
I can do that and then we can do the video. No worries.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Kajan, may I leave now? Because,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Thank you very much all, and have a nice night. Okay. Goodbye.
So I will come to this meeting number 4112.
Okay.
Can you see it? And I will edit it. And I can say recurring meeting. Okay, now you have an option how you want to do the recurring. So now I've set it on 6th, right? So I could say daily, weekly, or I could, for example, for us, it is bi-weekly, right?
Yeah.
So then I'll have to use, let's go for the, I'm actually not, weekly, repeat every 2 weeks, for example, and occurs on Monday and but this will actually not work in a Toastmaster meeting because this will every 2 weeks it will start recurring, but we actually have 1st and 3rd, correct?
If it is, yeah.
So that would be a problem, but for Toastmaster meetings might be not such a good idea. That's why I didn't even experiment with it. But
Right.
for normal daily, weekly, monthly, yeah, it's like it's easy to.
Then you can do under the monthly. You can do once a month, and then you do a separate one with the second Friday. Like Vision Work meets on the second Friday and the fourth.
Occurs on day first Sunday. Yeah, you can play with the settings because again, yeah, what is possible, you can probably do it.
Okay, I'll
yeah, but for me, 2 meetings in a month, it's not a. It's like a. The whole year's 12 meetings. It will take me hardly 10-15 minutes to set it up and keep it ready, right? And I have a clear separate meeting ID, everything defined. I can go and change the theme as and when it is ready and so forth.
Correct.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sounds good. Very in depth. It was nice.
Thank you. Any other questions? Adam is still here. You were talking about relaunch poll. Yeah. Adam, can you explain the relaunch poll? What was it that you were asking?
No, you showed us how to do the poll. So next to the poll, there was something called relaunch poll. I just wanted to understand why is that useful?
Relaunch polling is, suppose, let's say you ran the poll and there is some problem and you say, oh, let's run the whole poll all over again from beginning. So it will reset the entire poll and send the poll again to the audience to poll from the beginning.
Okay, thank you. Can I just try to share the screen? I didn't get the point. How do you say if you have a file open, you can directly go to that file?
Yeah.
Can I try it?
Yeah, sure.
So
it will show you all your open windows, you know, when you click share. So whatever application you choose, it will appear for us. Then you can go to another application, but we will not see it.
So how does that work? Again, because now when I, so you should have the file open, or how does it work?
Yes.
Because now when I go to share screen, I have my file open and one Explorer open.
Yeah. Open Explorer. Let us see the Explorer. Okay. Now.
Okay, but did you get to see my other open items or no?
No, now actually what we are seeing is your Zoom, post attendee Zoom.
Yes, okay. So when I clicked on my share screen, okay, now if I want to change the screen.
You have to either stop share or make a new share, I think.
No, but how do I move to show a different screen now? If I, okay, now you can see my Excel?
No, I can't see. Because you opened, I think, the Explorer, the Internet Explorer or Chrome, I think. So we are only seeing that window.
Okay, if I need to swap to my, I want to show a different thing which is open. How do I do that?
Okay, there will be a new share.
There is only stop share, but in between I can't.
Or maybe let me check my sharing options, share screen.
I'll just stop share, so probably you can help me out.
When you share the screen, don't share the entire screen. Open the app and click on that app.
No, I want to swap the screens in between.
Yeah.
So swapping, if you want to swap the screens, this is not going to work. Then you have to show your entire computer and then swap it from there.
No, not necessary, because the settings currently are who can share, all participant. Who can start sharing when someone else is sharing, all participant. That means
No. I think what he's talking is swapping the tabs. Like he wants to show either only Excel or PowerPoint or Internet Explorer.
I will give you an example. Okay. Now what I have is I'm going to show you a PowerPoint. Okay. So now you have a PowerPoint on your screen, and I'm actually now going to WhatsApp. You won't see it, right? I'm browsing WhatsApp. Now what I will do is I have an option here called New Share. And this is what you should be also seeing, because I don't think there's any country. So now I'm going to sweep to the PDF file. So the best practices file. So now you should see the PDF file. And I'm actually now in WhatsApp. You shouldn't see the WhatsApp, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the way it should work for you also. So try again. Open one window, which is your this thing, and then go to the meeting controls where normally there was a share screen. That button would have become new share.
What are you doing?
You are trying to open some.
Maybe Saira can try it out.
Okay.
Okay, you started. Okay. So now we are seeing your BBC homepage. Now you should be able to say new share.
Yeah, I do see.
Yeah, change it to something else. Now we are seeing, for example, the mail, I mean, some browser with a new tab. Yeah. So this is how it works. You can always, while you are sharing, you can switch to a new share.
Where the new share option comes? I'm so sorry, I'm asking this again.
There is also one option of two members at the same time can share their screen.
Yeah, that requires dual monitors to have two screens. So maybe in a business setting, but not for Toastmasters. So I didn't consider it.
Can you see my screen now?
I can see a blank screen.
It's written Adam, I'm here to learn. Yeah, just a main wordings are seen.
Okay, now we can see Toastmaster International. This is awarded to so-and-so. Okay.
Okay, certificates, right?
Yeah. Now, if you go to the meeting controls, that share button will become new share.
On top, on top.
Wherever there is.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can change to a new share.
Okay.
Got it?
Thank you. That was helpful.
Yeah.
It was appearing on top. I was all the way looking down.
Yeah, those buttons are like floating. They only come when you move the mouse to that place.
Got it.
So that was a great session. Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed. I will now send the document to Saira, and by tomorrow maybe you will get a clean document with which you can then modify if you want and share it and start training yourself.
Thank you, TM Kaji, and thank you to everybody who participated, because I mean, your initiative is always of great help. And thanks to everybody who put in their questions, because I think quite a few questions were common, and I'm sure everybody learned. And again, thank you very much for letting us in and teaching us.
There was some question I just noticed about pin video. Who had put that?
This one, Dinesh sir.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
So thank you, Eddie Kajetan.
Thank you.
Tabassum. A very useful session. Thank you.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kajetan. Bye, Saira, Gino, Alvin, Abdul, Dinesh, Adam.
Tabassum, I'm coming. Tabassum, I'm coming.
Yeah, police Saira's down. We have a curfew here.
Dinesh's question.
Who?
How about answering Dinesh's question?
What is that?
His question about pinning.
Pinning video. Okay, the pinning video is a feature available to you. So if you are giving a speech and I am the timer who's showing you the time like this, then what you want to do is when you are giving your speech, you want to see only my screen. So you will click on my screen where my face is, and there will be 3 dots there where you can say pin video. And if you do that, my screen will become like the main screen for you.
No, sir. In mobile, it is not looking that one. That's why I asked. I try to touching in your screen, but I cannot see 3 dot anything.
What are you using? What device?
Mobile, not on mobile.
So mobile, the pin for mobile is just tap twice like this. Just double tap.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then it will become. Then again double tap. It will go off from the pinning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Gadgeton. Maybe now, whenever you have a next session about conducting a contest. So, yeah, waiting for that session. I can take less.
Where can your background? This area
Division F. Division F.
I tried putting green and everything. Nothing is working. I came to the hall and I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, but Division F did yesterday contest training.
Yeah, to the contestant that they did the training. But we will also have, we will have to do, plus we have to undertake a lot of mock sessions till the contestants are comfortable that they can attend. So yeah, all of us have a lot of work ahead.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Gadgeton. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
It was great session as usual. We learned a lot.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Priscilla, nice seeing you.
Likewise.
Miss seeing you now. Gadgeton almost every second, third day we are in touch.
We are soon going to have a baking session also. Live Zoom baking session.
Okay, I'll share my blog with you. I'll share my blog. Y'all can go and check it out.
Nice.
Thank you.
All the best.
Okay, let me end.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Gadgeton. Bye, Priscilla. Bye, Adam.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye. God bless you. Take care.
Good night.